Officer Kevin Shepard walked through the curved hallway of Orbital Station Artemis with a stern face. His black boots made sharp sounds against the metal floor. He had been working on the station for 5 years now. In that time, he had seen many changes. The biggest change happened 15 years ago when the Navorians first came to Earth. Kevin never liked the Navorians. They looked almost human, but their skin had a faint blue tone. Their eyes were larger than human eyes and seemed to glow slightly in dim light. They could see in the dark and sense electrical fields. Kevin thought these alien tricks made them dangerous. The station had clear rules about where Navorians could go. They had their own living area on the east side of the station. The west side was for humans only. The middle sections were shared, spaces where both species could work together. Kevin checked the time on his wrist device. He was doing his regular security walk through the human-only science labs. These labs held important research that Earth governments wanted to keep private. Kevin took pride in keeping these areas secure. As he turned the corner into Lab Section 7, he stopped suddenly. A Navorian woman stood by one of the computer stations. She wore simple clothes, not the usual visitor badges or official uniform that would allow her to be here. "Hey, you!" Kevin called out sharply. "This is a restricted area." The woman turned, calmly. "Good morning, officer," she said in perfect English. Her voice was smooth and controlled. Kevin put his hand on his stun baton. "You need to step away from that station right now. Show me your authorization." "I believe there has been a misunderstanding," the woman said. She reached slowly toward her pocket. Kevin moved quickly. He grabbed her arm and pushed her against the wall. "No sudden movements," he shouted. "You are in a restricted human zone. That's a serious violation." "If you would allow me to explain," the woman began. "Save it," Kevin cut her off. He pulled out restraint cuffs from his belt. "All Navorians know the rules. You'll explain to the security chief why you're accessing restricted files." The woman did not resist as he put the cuffs on her wrists. Kevin noticed a few human scientists watching from the doorway of a nearby lab. He felt good showing them how seriously he took station security. "Move," Kevin ordered, pushing the woman toward the exit. He noticed she walked with perfect posture despite the restraints. As they walked through the corridors, Kevin's communication device beeped. He tapped it while keeping his other hand firmly on the Navorian's arm. "Officer Shepard," came the voice of Lieutenant William Nelson, Kevin's direct supervisor. "Bring your detainee directly to my office immediately." Kevin frowned. "Sir, I'm taking her to holding cell 3 for processing as per—" "That was not a suggestion, Shepard. My office. Now." The call ended. Kevin looked at the Navorian woman, who remained calm. This was strange. Standard procedure was to process all security violations through the holding area first. "Looks like you're getting special treatment," Kevin muttered as he changed direction toward the administrative section. When they arrived at Lieutenant Nelson's office, Kevin was surprised to see not only Nelson, but also Captain Patricia Diaz, the human commander of the entire station. Both officers stood when Kevin entered with his prisoner. "Remove those restraints immediately, Shepard," Captain Diaz ordered, her voice ice-cold. Kevin hesitated. "Ma'am, I caught this Navorian in a restricted area accessing—" "That's an order, officer," Nelson snapped. Confused, Kevin unlocked the restraints. The Navorian woman rubbed her wrists gently. "Officer Shepard," Captain Diaz said, "allow me to introduce Ambassador Nalakor, the newly appointed security director for Orbital Station Artemis." Kevin felt his stomach drop. He looked at the Navorian woman with new eyes. "The appointment was classified until the official announcement scheduled for this afternoon," Nelson explained, looking extremely uncomfortable. "Director Kor was touring her new jurisdiction with my authorization." Kevin stood frozen. He had just roughly detained his new boss. "Director Kor, I sincerely apologize for this incident," Captain Diaz said. "I assure you that Officer Shepard's actions do not reflect the professional standards of this station." Ambassador Kor nodded. "I understand, Captain. Security protocols exist for good reasons, though perhaps Officer Shepard could benefit from reviewing proper detention procedures." Kevin felt heat rising to his face. This alien was now critiquing his performance. Officer Shepard, Captain Diaz turned to him. You will personally apologize to Director Kor, then report to Lieutenant Nelson for review of first contact protocols. Yes, Captain, Kevin managed to say. He turned to the Navorian. I apologize for the misunderstanding, Director. Ambassador Kor looked at him with those large, strange eyes. Protecting this station is your job, Officer Shepard. I respect dedication to duty. However, I expect all security personnel to gather facts before taking action. Assumptions can damage more than professional reputations. Kevin nodded stiffly, feeling both embarrassed and angry. He had done his job correctly. How was he supposed to know this Navorian was the new security director? Why would they even choose one of them for such an important position? Dismissed, Shepard, Lieutenant Nelson said sharply. As Kevin left the office, he heard Captain Diaz beginning to discuss station security matters with Ambassador Kor. The door closed behind him. In the empty hallway, Kevin stopped and leaned against the wall. His perfect service record now had a major black mark. All because the station leadership had decided to put a Navorian in charge of security. It made no sense. Problems, Shepard? Asked Officer Lisa Blackwell as she walked by. You won't believe what just happened, Kevin said. That Navorian I just detained. Turns out she's our new boss. They made her security director for the whole station. Lisa's eyes widened. You're kidding. I wish I was. How are we supposed to trust one of them with station security? They've only been here 15 years. We barely know anything about them. Lisa shrugged. The higher-ups must have their reasons. Anyway, I heard the Navorians have helped advance our tech by decades. So they claim, Kevin said. Doesn't mean I want one giving me orders. Well, you better get used to it, Lisa said, continuing down the hallway. Times are changing. Kevin watched her go, then straightened his uniform. He would follow orders and work under this Ambassador Kor. He had no choice, but he would watch her carefully. The safety of everyone on this station, the human crew, might depend on it. 3 days after the incident, Kevin sat stiffly in a chair across from Director Kor's desk. The office had changed since the previous security director left. The walls now displayed both Earth art and strange geometric patterns that Kevin guessed were Navorian. The room temperature was slightly cooler than normal human preference. Officer Shepard, Director Kor said, looking at a screen in front of her. Your file shows impressive tactical scores. Top of your class in emergency response. 5 commendations for duty performance. Kevin said nothing. He kept his face blank while his mind raced with questions. Why had she called him here? Was she going to transfer him to a less important position because of what happened? Director Kor looked up from the screen, her large eyes studying him. You do not need to hide your discomfort, officer. I can sense your heart rate is elevated. Kevin frowned. He hated how Navorians could detect biological signs that humans tried to conceal. With respect, Director, he said stiffly, I'm just waiting to hear why I'm here. Director Kor nodded. Direct. Good. I appreciate that quality. She stood and walked to the window that overlooked the main docking bay. I called you here because I want you on my security response team. Kevin blinked in surprise. Your response team? Yes. Despite our unfortunate first meeting, your record shows you are an exceptional tactical officer. I need that skill. Even though you know how I feel about... Kevin stopped himself. About Navorians? Director Kor turned to face him. Yes, Officer Shepard. I am well aware of your feelings toward my species. Your actions made that quite clear. Kevin felt his face grow warm. Then why would you want me on your team? Because this station's safety matters more than personal feelings, she said simply. And because good officers can set aside prejudice to do their job properly. Before Kevin could respond, the emergency alert sounded. 3 short tones followed, by a long one. It was the code for an off-station emergency. Director Kor immediately tapped her communication device. Director Kor here. Report. Director, came Captain Diaz's voice. We've received a distress signal from Research Outpost Galileo. Their communication cut off mid-transmission. Last message indicated possible hostile presence. Understood. I'm sending a response team immediately. Director Kor looked at Kevin. Officer Shepard will lead the tactical unit. Have Shuttle Bay 3 prepared for immediate launch. Kevin stood straighter. Director, I haven't accepted the position on your team yet. Director Kor's expression remained calm. This is not about that position, officer. This is an emergency response and you are the most qualified tactical officer available. She walked to a wall panel and pressed her hand against it. The wall slid open to reveal an arsenal of weapons and equipment. Research Outpost Galileo has 12 staff members, 7 humans, and 5 Navorians, she said, while selecting a weapon. Your job is to bring them all home safely. Kevin wanted to object, to say that someone else should lead the mission, but he knew she was right about his qualifications. Yes, Director, he said. I'll assemble a team immediately. 20 minutes later, Kevin stood in Shuttle Bay 3 with 5 other security officers. They were checking their equipment when Director Kor entered the bay. Officer Shepard, she called, a word before you depart. Kevin walked over to her, aware that the other officers were watching. The outpost was conducting joint research on deep space radiation effects, Director Kor said quietly. Their work is classified. If hostiles attack the outpost, they may have been after the research data. Pirates? Kevin asked. Possibly. Or someone wanting to sell the research to the highest bidder. She handed him a small device. This will access the outpost's secure servers. If possible, secure or destroy the research data. Kevin took the device. Understood. Officer Samantha Ortiz approached them. She was Kevin's second in command for the mission. Team is ready, sir, she reported. Good. Kevin nodded. Board the shuttle. Final check in 2 minutes. After Ortiz left, Director Kor looked at Kevin with those unsettling eyes. There is something else you should know, Officer Shepard. I requested you specifically for this mission. Kevin frowned. Why? Because despite your feelings about Navorians, your file shows you have never failed to protect civilians of any species. She stepped back. Bring everyone home, officer. Kevin boarded the shuttle feeling confused. The director clearly knew he didn't trust Navorians, yet she had given him command of a rescue mission that included Navorian civilians. As the shuttle departed from the station, Officer Ortiz sat next to him. Something wrong, sir? She asked. Kevin shook his head. Just planning our approach. Outpost Galileo is built into an asteroid, limited entry points. I met with Director Kor, Ortiz said. Everyone's talking about what happened 3 days ago. Kevin frowned. It was a misunderstanding. Didn't look that way to me, Ortiz said. But you should know she requested you specifically for this mission. Said you were the best tactical officer on the station. Kevin looked at her in surprise. She told you that? She told everyone on the team. Said we were lucky to have you leading us. Ortiz shrugged. For an alien, she seems to be a good judge of character. Kevin turned away, uncomfortable with the conversation. He focused on the mission details displayed on his screen. The outpost was 3 hours away, built into a large asteroid rich in rare minerals. It had been established 5 years ago as a joint human-Navorian research facility. The distress signal had been brief, just enough to indicate they were under attack before communications went silent. No details about the attackers or casualties. Kevin studied the outpost layout. 2 docking bays, 1 main entrance, and an emergency exit on the far side. Limited defensive capabilities. If pirates had attacked, the research staff would have little protection. Team, listen up, Kevin called to the other officers. We don't know what we're flying into, standard rescue protocol. Ortiz and Lin, you're with me through the main entrance. Wu, Garcia, and Patel will secure the docking bays and watch our exit. The officers nodded their understanding. And remember, Kevin added after a moment, we're there for all 12 staff members. No one gets left behind. As the shuttle sped toward the asteroid, Kevin thought about Director Kor's words. She had trusted him with this mission despite knowing his prejudice. He wasn't sure if that made her naive or truly wise. Either way, he had a job to do. Outpost Galileo coming into visual range, the pilot announced. Kevin looked out the window. The asteroid loomed ahead, with the small research outpost built into its rocky surface. There were no visible ships docked at the outpost. No signs of attackers, Ortiz observed. That doesn't mean they're gone, Kevin said. Everyone stay alert, we go in fast and careful. As they approached the outpost, Kevin pushed aside his thoughts about Director Kor and focused completely on the mission. Whatever waited for them, inside the outpost he would do his job. He would bring everyone home safely, human and Navorian alike. The rescue shuttle docked at Outpost Galileo with a soft thud. Kevin checked his weapon and nodded to his team. The outpost's external lights were on, but there had been no response to their communication attempts. Remember, we don't know what happened here, Kevin said. Stay alert. Ortiz and Lin with me through the main entrance. The rest of you secure the docking area and watch our backs. As the shuttle door opened, Kevin led his team into the small docking bay. The area was empty and quiet. Too quiet. Warning lights flashed silently along the walls. Power seems to be working, Officer Lin observed, but environmental systems are on emergency mode. Kevin checked the air quality readings on his wrist device. Breathable, but pressure is lower than normal. Helmets on, just in case. They sealed their tactical helmets and moved toward the main entrance. The door to the station interior was closed but not locked. Kevin signaled for Ortiz to cover him as he opened it. The corridor beyond was dark except for emergency lights along the floor. Kevin activated the light on his helmet and moved forward slowly. There were signs of a struggle, a fallen chair, papers scattered across the floor, a coffee cup shattered against a wall. No bodies, Ortiz whispered through their helmet communication system. That's good, Kevin replied. Maybe they retreated to a secure area. They moved deeper into the outpost, checking each room. The research lab showed signs of having been searched. Equipment was damaged and data stations had been forcibly accessed. They were looking for something specific, Lin said, examining a broken storage unit. Kevin nodded. The research data director Kor mentioned. In the main control room, they found more evidence of the attack. Blood spots on the floor, both red human blood and the darker blue of Navorians. A security console had been shot multiple times. Check the security logs, Kevin ordered. Ortiz went to the backup security terminal. Most recent logs were deleted, but I can access the backup system. She worked quickly. Got something. Video feed from 6 hours ago. The screen showed the control room filled with researchers, both human and Navorian. Suddenly, 6 armed figures in black uniforms burst in. The researchers raised their hands. One of the attackers gestured with his weapon, and the researchers were marched out of view. Pirates, Kevin said grimly. They took the researchers hostage. Why not just kill them? Lin asked. They probably needed them to access the secure data, Kevin replied. He activated his communication link. Wu, Garcia, Patel, report. Docking bay secure, Wu's voice replied. No sign of anyone. Stay alert. We have confirmation that armed pirates took the researchers hostage. They might still be on the station. Kevin turned to Ortiz. Can you locate the researchers? Ortiz checked the life sign scanners. I'm picking up faint readings from the lower level. Storage area B. That's near the emergency exit, Lin added. Kevin considered their options. The pirates probably took what they came for and left through the emergency exit, but they might have left the researchers locked up, or he didn't finish the thought. Or worse, Ortiz said quietly. Let's move, Kevin ordered. Stay tight and watch for traps. They moved carefully toward the stairwell that led to the lower level. As they descended, Kevin noticed thin wires stretched across the stairs. Stop, he said sharply. Trip wires. Lin examined the wires without touching them. Connected to small explosives, they left traps behind. Can you disarm them? Kevin asked. Lin nodded. Give me a minute. While Lin worked on the trap, Kevin's communication device beeped with an incoming transmission from the shuttle. Officer Shepard, we're picking up an approaching vessel, Wu reported. Small ship, coming in fast. Pirates returning? Kevin asked. Negative. It's a station security shuttle. IFF shows Director Kor on board. Kevin frowned. Director Kor had followed them? Why? Acknowledge her approach but tell her to stay docked until we secure the site. Too late, sir. She's already docking at bay. 2. Kevin cursed under his breath. Patel, meet the director and tell her to stay put. We have active traps down here. Disarmed, Lynn announced, removing the last wire. They continued down to the lower level. The corridor was darker here, with several doors leading to storage areas. Kevin's scanner showed the life signs coming from behind the third door. Storage. Area B, he whispered. Prepare to breach. Before they could move, Kevin's communication device beeped again. Officer Shepard, came Director Kor's voice. I've reviewed the outpost schematics. The storage area has a secondary entrance through the maintenance tubes. The pirates may have set a trap at the main door. Kevin paused. Director, I ordered you to stay on the shuttle. And I chose to ignore that order, officer, she replied calmly. I can navigate the maintenance tubes faster than your team do, to my night vision. I'll approach from the secondary entrance while you take the main door. Kevin wanted to argue, but she was right about the tactical advantage. Fine, but wait for my signal before entering. Understood, she replied. Kevin turned to his team. Change of plan. We'll breach the main door on my signal. Director Kor will enter through the secondary entrance. Can we trust her to handle it? Lynn asked quietly. The question made Kevin pause. A week ago, he would have said no without hesitation. Now he wasn't so sure. She's the security director. We follow her lead. They moved into position outside the main door to storage area B. Kevin signaled to Lynn to check for traps. Clear, Lynn whispered after a careful inspection. Kevin contacted Director Kor. We're in position. As am I, came her reply. I can see inside through a maintenance grill. All 12 researchers are alive but restrained. No pirates visible, but I detect an explosive device near your entrance. Kevin tensed. What kind of device? Motion triggered from what I can see. If you open that door normally, it will detonate. Ortiz looked at Kevin. She just saved our lives. Kevin nodded, slowly. Director, can you disarm it from your position? Negative, but I can create a distraction that will allow you to enter safely. The researchers are far enough from the door to avoid injury if the device detonates in a controlled manner. Kevin thought quickly. The lives of 12 people depended on his decision. He needed to trust Director Kor's assessment. What's your plan? He asked. I will remove the maintenance grill and throw this portable shield generator into the room. It will create a barrier between the researchers and the door. Then I will fire a small EMP device at the explosive. The EMP should disable it, but if not, the shield will contain the blast. It was a good plan. Better than anything Kevin could come up with on short notice. Do it, he ordered. Through his helmet sensors, Kevin heard a metallic sound as Director Kor removed the grill. Then came a soft thud as something landed in the room. Shield active, Director Kor reported. Firing EMP in 3, 2, 1. A soft pulse traveled through the air. Kevin heard a faint click from the other side of the door. Device disabled, Director Kor announced. You can enter safely now. Kevin nodded to his team. Breach on 3. They burst into the room with weapons ready. The researchers were seated against the far wall, their hands bound. They looked frightened but unharmed. Director Kor was already moving among them, cutting their restraints. Medical team is on the way, she told them calmly. You're safe now. Kevin woke up in the medical bay of Orbital Station Artemis. His head pounded and his left side burned with pain. He tried to sit up, but a gentle hand pushed him back down. Stay still, Officer Shepard. Your injuries need time to heal, said Dr. Alan Rivera. Kevin blinked several times as his memory slowly returned. The rescue mission, the researchers, the collapsing doorway. The research team, Kevin said, his voice rough. Did they all make it back? All 12 researchers are safe, Dr. Rivera confirmed. Thanks to you and your team. Kevin relaxed slightly. What happened after the explosion? I don't remember much. Dr. Rivera checked the medical display above Kevin's bed. After you got everyone out of the storage room, the pirates triggered remote explosives throughout the outpost. A support beam collapsed. You pushed Director Core out of the way and got hit instead. Kevin frowned. He remembered now. They had been the last two leaving the storage area when the explosion rocked the outpost. He had seen the beam starting to fall directly over Director Core. He had acted without thinking, pushing her clear of danger. How bad is it? Kevin asked, looking down at his bandaged torso. 3 broken ribs, some internal bruising, and a mild concussion. You'll be off active duty for at least 2 weeks, but you'll make a full recovery. The door to the medical bay slid open and Officer Ortiz walked in. She smiled when she saw Kevin awake. Good to see you back in the land of the living, sir, she said. Ortiz. Kevin nodded. The mission report? Filed and approved. Captain Diaz said it was one of the cleanest rescue operations she's seen. Ortiz pulled up a chair next to Kevin's bed. The pirates got away with some of the research data, but not all of it. The researchers say they protected the most important findings. Kevin nodded. Good. And Director Core? Ortiz's expression changed, slightly. She's fine. Not a scratch, thanks to you. She studied Kevin's face for a moment. That was quite a move, sir. Risking your life for a Navorian. Kevin looked away. I'd have done the same for anyone under my command. Of course, Ortiz said, though her tone suggested she wasn't entirely convinced. Still, it's made quite an impression on the station. Officer Shepard, the known Navorian skeptic nearly dying to save Director Core. Kevin felt uncomfortable with the implication. It was just doing my job, Ortiz. If you say so, sir. She stood up. I should let you rest. The team sends their best wishes for a quick recovery. After Ortiz left, Kevin stared at the ceiling, thinking about the mission. He had worked well with Director Core, he had to admit. Her night vision and ability to sense electrical fields had been crucial in detecting the bomb. Without her, his team might have triggered the explosive when they entered the storage room. And then he had saved her life without hesitation. The realization bothered him, but not for the reason he would have expected a week ago. He was bothered, because it made him question everything he thought he knew about Navorians. The medical bay door opened again and Captain Diaz entered. Officer Shepard, she greeted him formally. Good to see you recovering well. Thank you, Captain, Kevin replied. I've reviewed the mission reports from both your team and Director Core. Captain Diaz's expression was unreadable. It seems you worked well together despite your initial meeting. Kevin nodded. The director proved herself capable in the field. High praise coming from you, Captain Diaz noted. There's something I think you should know, Officer Shepard. Something about Director Core that might interest you. Kevin waited, curious despite himself. Director Core was born on Earth, Captain Diaz said. She was part of the first generation of Navorians born after initial contact. Her parents were scientists who helped Earth overcome the Redon virus pandemic 20 years ago. Kevin was surprised. She's not from the Navorian homeworld? No. She grew up in Chicago, went to regular human schools, graduated from the International Space Academy with honors. Captain Diaz looked directly at Kevin. She requested your personnel file specifically when she was appointed as security director. She wanted to know who on her staff might have issues with her species, so she could remove them? Kevin asked. Captain Diaz shook her head. No, so she could work with them directly. In her request, she wrote that you represent the concerns of many humans, and that earning your trust would help bridge the gap between our species. Kevin was stunned. She chose me because I don't trust Navorians? She chose you because despite your prejudice, your record shows you always put the mission first. She believed you could move past your bias if given the chance to see Navorians as individuals rather than as an alien species. Before Kevin could respond, Captain Diaz's communication device beeped. I need to go, she said. But there's one more thing you should know. The research at Outpost Galileo, it's a medical project. The Nevorians are using their advanced biological knowledge to develop treatments for human genetic diseases. The pirates who attacked the outpost were likely working for a pharmaceutical company that doesn't want the treatment to be freely available. She left Kevin alone with his thoughts. He lay back, trying to process everything he had learned. Director Kor had been born on Earth. Her parents had helped save human lives. Now she was working on a station where many humans, including himself, distrusted her simply because of her species, and she had specifically requested him for her team, knowing his prejudice. It didn't make sense to Kevin. Or maybe it made perfect sense, and he had been too blinded by his own bias to see it. The door slid open again, and this time Director Kor herself entered the medical bay. She walked to Kevin's bedside with the same calm composure he had seen during the mission. "Officer Shepard," she said, "the medical staff informed me you were awake. How are you feeling?" "I've been better," Kevin admitted. "But Dr. Rivera says I'll recover fully." Director Kor nodded. "Good. The station needs officers of your caliber." There was an awkward silence. Kevin struggled with what to say next. Finally, he decided on the simple truth. "Why did you follow us to the outpost?" he asked. "Security directors don't usually join rescue missions." Director Kor's expression softened slightly. "I had information about the outpost's security systems that might have been useful. And," she hesitated, "I wanted to see your team in action, to see if my assessment of your abilities was correct." "And was it?" "Yes," she said simply. "You performed exactly as I expected. You put the mission and the lives of others above your personal feelings. That is the mark of an exceptional officer." 2 months after the rescue mission, Kevin stood at attention in the main hall of Orbital Station Artemis. The large room was filled with station personnel and visiting officials from Earth. At the front of the hall stood a podium where Captain Diaz was speaking. "Today we recognize the exceptional service and cooperation that protected both this station and the vital research being conducted at Outpost Galileo," Captain Diaz said. "The quick response of our security team saved 12 lives and preserved years of important medical research." Kevin glanced around the room. The researchers from Outpost Galileo were present, now fully recovered from their ordeal. Among the officials from Earth, Kevin recognized several high-ranking members of the United Earth government. The pirates, who attacked Outpost Galileo, have been captured, thanks to information obtained during the rescue operation. Captain Diaz continued. "We now know they were hired by a private corporation hoping to steal and profit from research meant to benefit all humanity." Kevin felt a sense of satisfaction at this news. He had returned to active duty just 2 weeks ago, his injuries fully healed. In his absence, Director Kor had led the investigation that tracked down the pirates. "The cooperation between humans and Nevorians during this crisis demonstrates what we can achieve when we work together," Captain Diaz said. "It is my great pleasure to introduce the architect of this successful operation, our security director, Ambassador Nala Kor." The audience applauded as Director Kor stepped up to the podium. She wore her formal uniform, which combined elements of both human and Nevorian design. "Thank you, Captain Diaz," Director Kor began. "The success of the rescue mission belongs to every officer who participated. True security comes not from strength alone, but from trust and cooperation." Her large eyes scanned the audience. "For 15 years, humans and Nevorians have been learning to work together. It has not always been easy. Our differences sometimes create barriers that seem impossible to overcome." Kevin listened with new understanding. His perspective had changed dramatically in the past 2 months. After leaving the medical bay, he had researched Nevorian history and culture. He had spoken with the Nevorian researchers from the outpost, learning about their lives and their work. Most importantly, he had continued to work with Director Kor, seeing firsthand her dedication to protecting everyone on the station. Research being conducted at Outpost Galileo represents the best of what our two species can accomplish together, Director Kor continued. Nevorian biological knowledge combined with human medical expertise is creating treatments for diseases that once seemed incurable. She paused, looking directly at Kevin. But today, I wish to recognize someone whose actions embody the spirit of cooperation we strive for. Officer Kevin Shepard, please step forward. Kevin was surprised. No one had told him he would be singled out during the ceremony. He stepped forward and approached the podium. Officer Shepard's quick thinking and brave actions during the rescue mission saved many lives, Director Corr said, including my own. She turned to face Kevin directly. Officer Shepard and I did not have the most promising beginning. This drew a few knowing chuckles from the station staff who were familiar with their first meeting. Yet when lives were at risk, he set aside any personal feelings and worked seamlessly with me to complete the mission. Director Corr picked up a small box from the podium. In recognition of his exceptional service and his embodiment of the cooperative spirit between our species, I am pleased to announce Officer Shepard's promotion to Chief of Station Security Operations. The audience applauded as Director Corr opened the box to reveal the insignia of the new rank. Kevin was stunned. Chief of Security Operations was the second highest security position on the station, directly under Director Corr herself. "Thank you, Director," Kevin said as she pinned the insignia to his uniform. "I'm honored." Director Corr stepped back. "Would you like to say a few words, Chief Shepard?" Kevin had not prepared any remarks, but he knew what he wanted to say. He turned to face the audience. "2 months ago, I would not have believed I would be standing here," he began honestly. "I came to this station 5 years ago with firm ideas about Navorians and humans working separately, not together." He glanced at Director Corr, then back to the audience. "The rescue mission at Outpost Galileo taught me that our differences can be strengths when we work as one team. Director Corr's night vision and ability to detect electrical fields saved my team from a trap that would have killed us all. My tactical training helped secure the outpost." Kevin paused, choosing his next words carefully. "I have learned that security isn't just about protecting boundaries, it's about building bridges. I am grateful for this opportunity to help build those bridges as Chief of Security Operations." The audience applauded again as Kevin stepped back. As the ceremony continued, Kevin reflected on how much had changed. His promotion meant he would be working even more closely with Director Corr. The thought no longer bothered him. After the ceremony ended, Kevin found himself on the observation deck. The large windows provided a spectacular view of Earth and the stars beyond. He heard footsteps and turned to see Director Corr approaching. "Congratulations again, Chief Shepard," she said, joining him at the window. "Thank you, Director," Kevin replied, "though I'm still surprised by the promotion." "You earned it," she said simply. "Your performance during and after the rescue mission demonstrated your ability to adapt and grow. Those are essential qualities for a security chief." They stood in comfortable silence for a moment, watching as a transport ship departed the station. "That's the medical transport," Director Corr said. "It's carrying the first batch of treatments developed from the Outpost Galileo research." Kevin nodded. "How many people will it help?" "Thousands to start. Millions eventually." She turned to face him. "That is why our work here matters, not just for security, but for the future of both our species." Kevin saw a new ship approaching the station. It was unlike any vessel he had seen before, with elements of both human and Navorian design. "What's that?" he asked, pointing to the ship. Director Corr smiled slightly. "That is the Explorer, the first joint human-Navorian deep space vessel. Its mission is to seek out new civilizations beyond our solar system. First contact with new species," Kevin said thoughtfully. "That will be challenging." "Yes," Director Corr agreed. "But if humans and Navorians can learn to work together despite our differences, perhaps we can help other species do the same." Kevin watched as the impressive ship docked with the station. "They'll judge us by how we work together," he observed. Director Corr nodded. "Then we had better give them something worth seeing, Chief Shepard." For the first time since meeting, Director Corr, Kevin smiled genuinely. "I believe we will, Director. I believe we will."